woke up around 3 in the morning and saw the message. And it literally said, "We know you don't want anything to do with your sister, but she and Angel are dead." But at that moment, I didn't believe it either. But the truth is that reality far surpasses affection. I only saw this in movies. One never thinks that it's going to happen to them. He had already done it with 2 women like my sister and my nephew because I would have liked to see her grow old. I would have liked to see my nephew accomplished as a footballer, Bella Grande in school, studying what she likes the most.
In a country where violence affects everyone, regardless of gender, today we are going to meet with Carla Casillas to reflect on the case of her sister, Astrid Noemi Cruz Casillas, a young mother whose life, along with that of her little son, was abruptly taken away by her ex-partner. This atrocious act left a trail of pain, emptiness, and outrage that continues to resonate to this day.
Am I Carla Casillas or Carla Elizabeth Cruz Casillas? I am the sister of Astrid Noeman Cruz Casillas. I am the older sister. I am 40 years old. She was 38 years old. We are 2 years apart, and she was a victim of femicide. She was a very cheerful woman, very, very cheerful and always super positive. And I have always said it. Many times she would take the plate or the bite almost from her mouth, the food from her mouth, to give it to others. She was always very much about helping others, whoever they were. She always helped others. A very fighting woman, always following her dreams, despite the fact that, well, it was never easy for her. She was always with a positive attitude, had many friends, was a very beloved woman, both by her friends and her family. Of course, and we always did. She always caused us to have family gatherings, and that we were always happy. She had a laugh super contagious that she would start to laugh. The whole family would laugh and no one could stop us because it was about seeing each other and laughing and laughing and laughing. So she was always like that. She was an exemplary mother, very patient, very calm, but a woman who knew until that day how to educate her children, a very admirable and hardworking woman. My sister had her partner a long time ago and she got pregnant. She suffered a lot because this person also abused her. This person is no longer alive either. But he tried to suffocate her with a pillow. She asked my mom for help. They saved her. And when she got out of all that, she found out she was pregnant. She had her baby. She moved forward. Angel was little and met Francisco. With Francisco, it lasted many years. They had differences. After many years, they had differences. They separated. And then she gets pregnant with Bella. So they come back and try, well, to save their family and their marriage. They were like that for a while until they now internally decided to separate. And my sister, 3 years ago, exactly. That's when she separated from Francisco, got divorced, and shortly after she met Eduardo. When she separated from Francisco. I used to tell her she was a very strong woman who could handle that and more because she always was. What am I going to do? I have 2 children. At first, and then later, she bought her house, she bought her car. She was calm. I saw her calm. But I told her that she should change her circle of people, that she needed to make a change to meet new people. Because I went through a divorce, and for me it was a success to do things this way. To put everything aside and start from scratch in order to flow, and it worked very well for me. So, obviously, in my experience, I told her to leave everything, start from scratch with friends, with your circle. You've already bought a house here. You're going to live in Guadalajara? And she told me, you're right. I'm going to cut contact with everyone who is close to Francisco, etc. So I can start from scratch. But I think things were misunderstood. Yes, she was meeting new people, but shortly after, she told me that she had met someone. Obviously, I told her not to rush. There's no hurry. Take it easy right now. Enjoy your moment of being alone, of being calm. But, well, no, she decided until later, I found out. She made the decision to download an application. And through that application, she met Eduardo. Obviously, when she told me, I told her, no way, be very careful, watch out. I've never liked those things. I've never liked that type of applications because for me, and to show it, a button is enough. My grandmother used to say it's very dangerous, so I always told her to be very careful, don't trust it, and well, that's it, nothing more. One day, we went to a shopping mall where she said she would introduce him to me. We met there, though I don't recall why she chose that location for the introduction. And he arrived, and I was like, I don't know. My first impression wasn't until later. I found it funny, but I said, my God, who is this? I mean, who is this? He is super boastful. And he likes to dress like a rapper, like a reggaeton singer with very exotic clothes. He's not at all handsome, So me like this, inside I was thinking, oh my God, what are you doing? I didn't say anything at that moment, me with my best face, nice to meet you, la 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 for her, no. Because, well, I to him neither owe him, nor at that moment did I owe him anything, nor, well, he is nothing of mine. So this for her, of course, afterwards. I spoke with her and told her, take good care of yourself. Oh, isn't it that, oh, she brought me some flowers. Oh, she brought me. And he is very, very, very talkative. He knows how to handle things and how to reach people, but he is super talkative and very manipulative. It's his specialty. So my sister is a person who has always been, unfortunately, very easy to manipulate. So, well, now this man said from here, I am in this, but I always, hey, be careful, hey, take care of yourself. Oh, no, yes, no, super good vibes. I've met his daughter. Oh, no, his daughter, I don't know what, because his mom passed away and she stayed with him. Blah, blah, blah. That's what we knew then. And I've already met his mom. She already told me that she wants. He is very, well, he is a freeloader. He put on airs of grandeur as if he were a millionaire. And here in Guadalajara, the Zapopan area, especially the Andares area, is a very expensive area. So he's like, I don't want to rent an apartment. I think I'm going to buy it, but I want to rent an apartment in Andares. And well, that's the level.
For Astrid, the warning signs that her sister Carla was trying to point out to her were nothing more than personality traits that at that time did not seem to represent a danger. In love and excited, she chose to see the best in her partner, like many in this situation. Obviously, she did not imagine that behind those seemingly harmless gestures hid a controlling and manipulative behavior. However, new red flags began to rise when Eduardo, her ex-partner, tried to involve her and Carla in what he described as a family business.
I believe that he is a narcissist and a psychopath, and that he knows very well what he is doing. The point is that he had my sister spellbound. No matter what the rest of us told her, she just wasn't going to listen to us. Because, well, we've all been through the stage where, oh, you're in love with someone and you don't see anything but beautiful things, right? So she was in that moment, in that stage. Time passed, we met him, we spent time with him. I repeat again for my sister, because there was something about him that didn't appeal to me. Then my sister starts to tell me, hey, do you know what? that there's a great business opportunity that Eduardo has, and we want to talk to you because we want you to have a good position. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you catching me off guard? It's not that there's a business with the government, it's just that we can't give names. Honestly, I can't recall the names right now. If I did, I would mention them. He gave the names of the people, but we can't disclose them, he tells me. And it turns out it was a 600 million peso deal with the current government. Well, no current. There was the PJ, there was the other president, and that he had direct contact with this character. And, well, there was a millionaire business, but it was like under the water. I want to understand corruption, and I don't know. I didn't quite understand the business. The point is that my sister was saying, yes, look, we can do, and well, 1,000 things, right? So I told her, you know what? I don't know about that kind of stuff. I don't trust. Besides, I don't know him. No, but trust me, I don't know what's good. I organized a meeting with my husband, and we went out for breakfast. And of course, yes, no, yes, look, this happens, and the business, and I don't know what, and I don't know how much. And it's a family business. I managed it both with this 600 million peso business and with the uniformed Mexicans. But now I understand that it was his strategy to scam people. Because he asked my husband for 1 million pesos to start this business, and that it was already a family business. When we barely knew him, he wasn't from our family, and he was never going to be. The truth is, but he wanted to handle it that way, and so that we would fall for it. Unfortunately for him, well, my husband did say no. I don't need any family business. I have my family business. I mean, from my family, you have yours, from your family, and so on. I mean, I wish them a lot of success, but the truth is no, I mean, I'm not interested. So, well, that's what happened. But then they called me because they were renting an office near this Zapopan square, near Plaza Andares. They called me because they wanted me to help them with their social media. So, well, it's what I like. So I told them, okay, once I was there, what they told me was, yes, about social networks. But Eduardo, what they wanted from me, I mean, they took me there under that deception. Because once I was there, Eduardo was saying, isn't it that here the good one and the expert in social networks is me? What I want here is for you and your sister to be the image of the company. Now we are talking about uniformed Mexicans. So I told him no, that I was going for one thing, for the social media issue, and I didn't need to be the image or anything of any company. And even less if I didn't even know in depth what was being done. And he was telling me that everything was fine. I asked him for the articles of incorporation, I mean all the papers, then he didn't give them to me, he didn't show them to me. He told me they were in process, but that they were already receiving donations. So then I liked it even less, because obviously they weren't doing things in a legal way, but my sister was unaware of many of these issues. I knew him thanks to my husband, because my husband teaches me many things. But I also worked for the government for a long time, so I knew very well how those kinds of things were handled, but my sister did not. So even though I explained it to my sister, she would tell me then I would tell her I spoke with my sister and told her to see what they are doing is illegal. They are receiving money in personal accounts. It's illegal and it shouldn't be done. Be very careful, take good care of yourself. And what did he do? He came in and said, oh, she doesn't know, don't listen to her. She is just a housewife and has no idea what we are doing. So isn't what we're doing true? It's totally legal, it's good, and you shouldn't be afraid. And my sister decided to believe him. The proof is in the fact that
they lasted 3 years. Under the front of an association, Eduardo began to make bank movements that at first glance raised serious suspicions about their legality. However, Astrid, blinded by the trust and affection she still felt for him, chose not to question him. Her faith in her partner prevented her from seeing beyond appearances, ignoring the warnings from her environment, and minimizing the risks that his actions implied. Unfortunately, that same faith was what allowed Eduardo to drag her into an increasingly murky situation, and for when Astrid realized the gravity of the situation as it was already too late.
Mexicanos Uniformados is an association that Eduardo founded, according to him, that has a partner. I honestly don't remember the name right now, but he founded it to support the police. Supposedly, he managed it as if here in Mexico, the government had the police very unprotected. So he wanted to create this association to be able to support them, to be able to help them. Because besides, according to this, he had a company before, like his oh, how do I explain it? He gave trainings to government staff. That's how he expressed it, to government security staff. And then, according to this, he realized it there. Sorry, that the police were very unprotected, so he wanted to protect them. So this was uniformed sub-Mexicans. He was supported by artists, perhaps supported without their knowledge, not knowing who this person was, or I don't know. But the point is that many artists supported him, because there are many videos where artists encourage donating and supporting uniformed Mexicans. I know a lot of people did it. I know a lot of people were scammed, but was that his purpose or his idea of this association of uniformed Mexicans? So, well, the point is that I didn't accept, and he wanted me to pass it on to him. He would tell me to just pass him contacts. The point is that he couldn't even get money out of us, but there were people who did. And well, nothing. Time passed from there. We coexisted. I say it again, because of my sister, we coexisted. There were meetings. We were together. But there came a time when my sister and I had a discussion. It was over the phone. And we had a discussion. Because I told him that to be very careful with him. I repeated it to him, be very careful with him. He is a scammer. Obviously, I didn't realize or didn't believe what kind of character this man was to me. He was nothing more than a scammer, right? And I did tell my sister, you know what, be very careful. You could end up in jail because he's a scammer. He is. And, well, in the argument, my sister told me that I was just judging him, that I didn't really know who he was, that since I didn't know him, I was just talking without knowledge. And, well, it was a very strong fight. And I just told him that I didn't want that person around my family. I didn't want them around my children, my husband, or me. That she should make, well, now, yes, her decisions, but they should not affect my family. So, yes, from there we distanced ourselves. And from that point on, until he killed her, then I started getting information about my sister again, right? But all this because he distanced her from the family, he distanced her, and now he does many things. But he wouldn't leave her alone, whether in the sun or shade. I mean, if she had a meeting with her friends, just friends, a breakfast, he was always there. I mean, he wouldn't leave her alone, not in the sun or in the shade. Well, maybe because of the way he is manipulative and controlling as well. So we go back to what I already said. Narcissist, psychopath, sick, and, well, now everyone knows it.
What initially seemed like a relationship based on love ended up becoming a chain of manipulations and ultimately a real tragedy. After a period of estrangement, Carla never imagined that the next news she would receive about her sister would be one that would mark her life forever.
I found out through WhatsApp and Instagram because days before this happened on a Sunday. And I wrote to Angel. On Thursday, the Thursday before, because my sister posted something on her Instagram saying that in bad times you realize who is with you and who supports you or something like that. And I asked Angel, I said, hey, Angel, is everything okay? Angel Fernando, is everything okay? He said, yes. Aunt, why? I said, because I saw this post from your mom. He said, it's because she and Eduardo broke up, but everything is fine. And me? Are you sure? Yes, everything is fine. I commented on the post, then deleted it. I'll tell you why now. I put it in the post. Cheer up, sister. You are very strong. You have been able to handle things like this and much more. And you are going to move forward with your children. And that right? And she said, thank you, sister. So thanks to that comment, they were able to find me. Because her current circle, well, they didn't know me. I mean, maybe they knew I existed, but they didn't know it was me, right? So I get it at 11 o'clock at night. Yes, around 11, I get a message telling me that my sister, there were very strange things. That why she had lent the van to my sister to do her moving. But that the van was already somewhere else, and that the one who had left it was Eduardo and not my sister, and that everything was very strange. But at the moment I said, but what does it have to do with, no, I didn't understand. I had just had surgery. I was not well. And I didn't understand, or I didn't formulate very well what I read. And the only thing I answered was, hey, but did you lend him the truck? I understood he had lent him the truck, couldn't find it, and wanted it back, right? So I said to him, you know what? Well, I don't know anything. I mean, I haven't been in contact with my sister for a long time, so if you don't know about your truck, and I know even less, I mean, I have no idea. I'm not going to get involved in other people's affairs because I don't know. I mean, what do I have to do there? That's what I replied to him. That happened at 11 post Meridium. But it seemed very strange to me because the number was from Chihuahua, the number from which they had contacted me. So my husband told me to calm down, and I said, what if it's Eduardo? Because I knew he had contacted my friend, the one who couldn't come. She told me I'm here. She contacted me. She told me he left her on the street. She has lost her house, car, money, and has maxed out credit cards. So my first thought in my mind was, this guy has already left my sister high and dry. He has already drained my sister, speaking economically. So now he wants to come. My thought was, he wants to kidnap me to get money from my husband, which he couldn't do at the time by fair means. So I told my husband, and he said, oh, surely if it's this guy, because I didn't give him the money, don't pay attention. And if not, I don't pay attention. I used to get up a lot in the early morning. I had to walk and go to the bathroom because I had to drink a lot of water. So I got up very often. So I get up and my phone rang a lot of times. It rang, and it was on vibrate. So I got up. I got up around 3 in the morning and saw the message. And it literally said, we already know that you don't want to know anything about your sister, but this... Angel and she are dead. Bella is dying. We need Francisco's phone number from you. Well, yes, it was a shock for me. But at that moment, I didn't believe it either. At that moment, it was a no. This guy wants to generate a sense of urgency in me so that I run to wherever he tells me to, and he wants to kidnap me, and he's playing with me. Because if he tells me they're dead, I'm going to run, so I'm not going to do it. That's how it stayed until 6 in the morning. I wrote to Milan and my friend, the one who couldn't come, and I said, you know what? I have very strange messages. And I'm scared. And she already asked me, but strange how? And she already told me. I sent her the photos, the screenshots, and she said, I'll take care of it. I'm going to call those numbers right now. And I'll take care of seeing who it is. And she already called me and told me that it was true. And that's when I started to notify my family. My husband had gone on a trip that very day for work. So I spoke to my aunts, I spoke to my cousins, I asked them to contact Francisco because I had no contact with him. And that's when they took charge of everything. Mileni couldn't make decisions because she wasn't a direct relative. But she's been friends with my sister since high school. So my cousin and my aunts were the ones who took care of all this. And not until that was Sunday. Monday was the funeral. Yes, Monday. But already in the afternoon, late night. Tuesday was all day, and by Wednesday we did this. Don't believe it. Monday was all that procedure, and Tuesday was the wake, and Wednesday was the funeral. No, I didn't tell him. And I told them not to because he was going to get very upset. That we should wait now until he was ready at the funeral home. And honestly, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know who told him because I didn't tell him. I felt I was very helpless amidst the pain because I couldn't do anything. I depended on someone to move me, to be able to go out, to be able to do something. I depended on someone because I couldn't drive. It was very hard for me to move. And I didn't know who told my mom, nothing more. They informed me that they had already notified her and they saw her very calm. I think that it still hadn't sunk in, or I don't know. I felt really bad when I found out, but all those days I was on medication, so I was very calm. Yes, I was giving a lot of interviews because nobody wanted to give interviews. Nobody wanted to give interviews. So, I gave them because I said, no, someone has to do it so that it gets more and more diffusion. And then I was the one giving the interviews there. They would come to my house or they would go there to the funeral home. They also went to the burial. And, that's how things went. Of how I found out, and everything I found out was only half the story because that's it. Yes, he killed them, and then no, he had them tied up. No, they were killed, and then I found out they weren't tied up. But two of her friends, the ones who contacted me, they would push us aside, the family, we would ask them things, and they didn't want to tell us. And then I would say to them, hey, what's going on? What happened with my sister's house? Hey, what happened with this? I have nothing to talk about with you. Francisco is the one who has control of everything and anything. Ask him. And so we had no contact anymore. And one of them left the city. She took her children out of school. She sold her house, the one who had lent her the truck. She's the one who had lent her the house she was going to. But in that house lived Eduardo's daughter, which was what I didn't know. She rented the house to Eduardo so that his daughter could live there. And they got along very well. They have said many things. I don't know if they are rumors or not. I didn't live it. But they also said that Eduardo and she had a very, very close relationship. I don't know how much. And 2 weeks after what happened, I found out that she took her children out of school, that she was going to sell her house and they went to live in Sinaloa, in Sonora. That because she couldn't bear that pain and it was her way of grieving, which obviously no one buys that story. So honestly, everyone. We also think that she had something to do with it indirectly, not that she carried it out, but that she somehow helped. But they are just assumptions based on how she handled things because you run away. And they had known my sister for 6 months.
6 or 7 months. Carla shares with deep sadness the immense weight that now falls on the shoulders of her little niece. Despite her young age, this girl is not only the sole survivor of the tragedy, but also the only witness to the events that took the life of her mother and little brother. A testimony that, although vital for the justice process, represents an enormous emotional burden for someone who is just beginning to understand the world.
So, well, there was nothing there, just waiting for Bella to be okay. Honestly, we thought she wasn't going to survive because of the severity. But she's a very brave girl, very fighter, and she recovered very quickly physically. But as I tell you now, emotionally, she is devastated and she lacks. And what she lacks because is, well, it seems like she remembers in parts. At the beginning, she took it well because she would say, "Oh, my mom and my brother are in heaven. Oh, how good. Look, they are going to take care of you. Yes, they are going to take care of me." She wrote a letter to her mom asking her to please come back in the form of a butterfly to know that she was there. But it also hurts me a lot to think about everything she's missing, her suffering. She's just a child, and as adults, we have a certain strength. Although she surprises me quite a bit, I think she's even stronger than me. But it hurts me to think that everything she went through and that she still has to relive that. I don't know if once or several times, I don't know. But she has to relive that in order to explain and tell everything that happened that day. Because now she's the only witness. And that's why we take very good care of her. We take very good care of her. It bothered us a lot because the director of the civil hospital would come out and give information about Bella as if it was nothing. And that bothered us a lot because he doesn't measure the danger that Bella is still running. And he doesn't measure the pain. Also, how it makes the family feel knowing that someone just wants their 5 minutes of fame. Yes, the girl is doing very well. She has already been discharged, not when we were taking care of all that, by the prosecutor's counsel, but, well, logically, so that the girl, that no one really knew what was happening with the girl, right? But no matter how much we protected it, this gentleman came out twice to give statements or to give his interviews of how beautiful she was. But no matter how much, I, for example, sometimes feel like it's not true yet to this day. Like it's not true. I mean, at any moment they're going to call me. Or it's not true. It didn't happen, but I looked at their pictures because I have them like a little shrine in my house, and I looked at their pictures and I remember everything. And well, the penny dropped for a moment that it is true that she is no longer here, that Angel is not either. Bella is suffering and will continue to suffer greatly. I haven't asked for details. The only thing I asked the prosecutor's office, because they asked me to know well, maybe to understand a little more to her and just me. I asked them how they found them, because this woman also told another person that they had sent Angel to the store And that's why he was down on the stairs. So we also say all those things. How do you know if you are the one she was looking for and you run away? Anyway, that's more of a relief than anything else, because obviously no one is going to investigate it or anything, even though I already told the prosecutor's office. But well, and they told me, yes, Astrid was in one room, the girl in another, and Angel was in the living room. They weren't tied up, and they told me, because as I have to go to receive the house and the things to maybe like for, I want an overview of what to expect. Although they told me it's not mandatory for me to go in to the house without signing anything else, that I'm receiving the things and that someone else takes out what was left in that house, because most of the things were in the other house of the friend who lent her the house. So I don't have much information because I haven't investigated, but that's what I do know. He killed them with a hammer. One was in one room, another in another, another in the living room, and I don't know more. They had been separated for a few weeks, and what we believe is that she wrote to my friend, to me. Lainey wrote to her and told her that she was up to her neck in debt and that Eduardo was nowhere to be found, that he left and disappeared. So she contacted the mom and asked her to please support her, please support me. It's not about Eduardo coming back to me. All I want is for us to separate. I want him to help me pay the debt since I don't have money, a job, or anything. And it's an audio that she has that she played for me. I heard it. So, well, I don't know. We think that maybe the lady wrote to Eduardo, contacted him, or even he was there and he got angry, and that's what triggered it for him to do that. Or the other is that he flat out had it planned when she was at ease. But he knew all her moves. He knew what day she was going to take things out. He knew that her friend had lent her the house. He knew that her friend had lent her the truck. He knew she was going to go to her friend's house. I mean, he knew everything. So, well, I don't know. I don't know what led him to make that decision. We want to think that it was that, like, what was around him. But then listening to the other cases and everything, well, for him, if he didn't do it, it was going to be a defeat, or I don't know. For him, it was satisfying to do that. I mean, so it wasn't. Is it then this one? We won't know until they catch him. Hopefully it will be soon. Why did he do it? I don't know. I don't know if that moment will come or I watch too many movies, but the truth is that reality far exceeds affection. I did tell my husband, it's just that I only saw this in movies, never. One thinks that it's going to happen to him. What they told me, Lenny. Because they had me isolated from all the information because I wouldn't get upset, and because the doctor had forbidden me to have so much information at that moment. But what I know is that it was Fabiola and Miriam, because they found it very strange and they went like, I don't know, 9 at night, 10 at night, something like that, with their husbands, and they heard laments, moans, and that's when they called the police. And I think it was around 11 it wasn't then after. Because if that message came to me around 10, 11 at night and she suspected all of this, so maybe it was even later. There, yes, I don't have all the information. But it was the two of them, Fabiola and Miriam is the one who went to Sinaloa, to Sonora. Angel was 16 years old. They both just had their birthdays in February. Bella just turned 10 and he just turned 16, both in the same month. And he was just a kid, no way. Super sweet, loving. Just like his mom, he gave everything for others to help others. He wanted to be a footballer. He was playing at Atlas. He wanted to be a footballer. Worried? I tell you, for others. My son adored him. He was a very good boy and was very loved by those who knew him. He loved him.
Carla with both interest and pain. She uses these interviews as a platform, not only to share her story, but to launch an urgent call to society. She asks for empathy and support to achieve the capture of Eduardo, the main person responsible for this tragedy that destroyed her family.
Oh, to society, I ask for empathy. A lot of empathy. I ask for support, also a lot of support. To be able to find this person. That all women take great care of themselves more than society, to a society of empathy. And stop judging people without knowing what's behind all of this. And women, well, they should take good care of themselves. Don't trust someone so much, not just a man, in anyone, because unfortunately we don't know who we're living with anymore. And you never imagine that something like this will happen. So I just ask you to take good care of yourselves. That's all, because I have no idea where he is. I wish I knew, but I have no idea where he is. The truth is, well, I didn't know him well. I mean, I knew him very, very, very little. But I have no idea where he is. I just ask you, if you see him, if you know anything about him, if you put yourself in our place. I mean, for a minute, God forbid this ever happens to anyone. But for a minute, put yourself in our place. As a family, think about it. What if it's my daughter? What if it's my sister? What if it was my friend? I wanted to help to find him. So I ask everyone to think about what would have happened if it was one of your relatives and what kind of support you would like to receive. And give us that support to be able to find him, if you know him, if you have seen him. Anything at all, anything will help us a lot to be able to find him, and so that he pays for everything he did. This man, Eduardo Granados Palma, it's not the first time he's done something like this. He had already done it with 2 women, with one. He himself pleaded guilty. But he also killed her with a hammer, like my sister and my nephew, and he tried to make her disappear in a river. He participated in the search brigade. Like a movie. And when they called him to testify, he was never a suspect. That's what I know. And there he pleaded guilty. And that's when he said everything that he had killed with a hammer, that he had thrown him into the river and so on. That's another. I don't know which of the 2 was first or last, but it was another one. Just when he met my sister, he had killed another woman, but he was in jail for the first woman and he escaped. This was in Sinaloa and he escaped. And when they caught him, years later, they let him out for good behavior. And it's also when I met my sister. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how things went, but he had already killed 2 women. He had already done it. And 3 years ago was when he met my sister. And well, we didn't know any of that. We didn't know any of that. Now that there's a page, now that there are many things. But this man is a psychopath. He's a serial killer because he does the same thing with every woman he meets, with the mothers of his children. Because the one he killed is the mother of his daughter who is with him. And well, then, that's a profile of a serial killer, and that can keep happening. I mean, there must be some woman he's already deceiving and let this serve so that he can no longer continue killing more women. In this case, there were also children, but that he no longer continues killing more women is not fair. So be very careful with those blind dating apps. And this one, if you see him on any, please do not hesitate to tell us. My sister didn't know anything because I'm sure if she had known something, she wouldn't have been there. She wouldn't have been there. And well, none of us could have imagined that he was a person, not a person, that he was a monster of this level. People contact me through Facebook, but ideally, if they know something, they should call the Jalisco prosecutor's office in the area of femicides. And that's where they will take care of all that. Any information, ideally, it should be with them. And they will be responsible for investigating and doing their job. Well, I asked myself, why did I distance myself? But the truth is that one doesn't think about what can happen. But she knew that even though I was distant, because I didn't want to have contact with that man, and that she was then already distant from everyone, she knew that she could always count on me for anything, that whatever she needed, she could look for me and I could help her in some way. Yes, obviously. I feel like I didn't have enough time to spend with her, with Angel, with Bella, because I would have liked to see the old lady. I would have liked to see my nephew succeed as a footballer. Bella grown up in school, studying what she likes the most. I know I'm going to see her, but I would have liked for us to grow old together and laugh at so many anecdotes, even fights, and laugh at silly fights at the time. But unfortunately, Eduardo arrived to shatter their dreams and ours as their family. I did it at the funeral. I avoided approaching to view the bodies because I didn't want to see them. Because I preferred to remember them as well and not remember them as they were in the coffin. But at the funeral, I did approach without seeing them. I did approach and I was able to say goodbye to both of them. The father of my nephews is very sick. Emotionally, he is devastated. He feels guilty because that weekend he was going to take them. He was going to take them. But my sister told him to wait so they could help him with the move. So he feels very guilty for not taking them with him, for leaving them behind. and for not taking my sister with him too. Why? But no matter how much we tell him no, that, well, he wasn't going to know that was going to happen. But he feels very guilty. He feels shattered. He is very, very bad. I've spoken with the prosecution. They tell me they are working. That, well, obviously they can't give me details of their work, of the investigation, but to trust them. And well, I don't know if I heard something nice or ugly, but we have no other choice but to trust the prosecutor's office and have faith that they are really doing their job and that at some point they will manage to do justice.
In addition, the suspect, she makes a clear and necessary warning. She begs young women not to ignore the warning signs in a relationship, what at first may seem like a minor trait or a misunderstood act of love. Oftentimes, it's the start of a spiral of control and violence.
That's all I want to say to women and men as well. To be very careful and accept when a family member who they know loves them tells them to take care of themselves. For this and for this, people who are outside of that relationship see things better. And if we see a red flag, if we see something we don't like, really take it into account and analyze it and don't ignore it. Or don't say, oh, it's just that they don't like them. It's because of X. Because by doing that, things can happen. Like what happened to my sister. So I accept, instead of getting angry, I accept the criticisms, the advice from the people who love you are telling you, because they are not just to annoy or whatever. It's something one feels. I say it for myself. It was something I felt. But that, well, my sister was blinded. So don't blind yourselves. Don't deny it. Investigate. And obviously we all want it to always be a lie, but most of the time it's true. So intuition is very tricky. So pay attention, heed what the people who love you tell you. Be calm. I know that maybe you're not resting yet. Be calm, because we are going to achieve justice. Don't worry about Bella, because she is well taken care of, and we are going to do everything possible to protect her. And so that she, even if it's little by little, can live with this in a more bearable way and in a way that she can live her life in a way fulfilled, able to live with this. And we are going to try to make her life as good as possible. I am on social media as Mom 4x4. On the 3 social networks, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And well, that's it. If you have information and want to send it through that medium, I'd be happy to receive it. I will take it and I will pass it on to whoever needs to receive it. In order to investigate or to be able to achieve justice,
Carla Casillas seeks justice and ensures her sister's name isn't lost among statistics. That her niece has a chance to grow up in a safe environment. And that other women listen, recognize, and react to signs of abuse before it's too late. If you were part of any injustice and would like to make your case known, you can write to me at the email, which is email@pepemystery.com.mexico, if not by Instagram, where I am as Pepe Mystery Mexico or Pepe Mystery Documentaries, and on Facebook as Pepe Mystery.